during this very challenging time where we had to be forced to be separate from our friends and our colleagues, I was really grateful for this Anchor app, which has allowed me to continue the podcast after almost 1 year of working on it. It's free. You simply go to anchor.fm and download the app. And there you'll find all the tools that you need to record and edit your podcast, as well as to invite people onto your podcast through the app. Anchor also distributes the podcast for you on Apple, Spotify, and many other platforms. You have absolutely nothing to do except to record your podcast. If you have an ad like this, you can also make money. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. I would recommend it for anyone who wants to get their voice out there, has something to contribute. Go for it. Anchor.fm is where you go to download the free app and to get started. Good luck with your podcast. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 3. Today we'll be speaking with an artist from Bali. Her name is Satya Sipta, and she is not only a painter, she's a dancer and a singer and an actor who's currently organizing a music festival in Bali. I think it would be interesting for you to hear her speak about what she's doing more than me. Enjoy. Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Well, I'm really happy to hear your voice. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you.
Yes, well, I know it's a little bit early there, but thank you for waking up early. How late did you work last night with your music
Well,
festival?
it was actually until 1 a.m.
Wow, yeah, I thought so. I
Yeah.
thought so. So tell us about the music festival organizing this week.
Well, so actually, the music event I direct called Indonesian Music Expo or IMAX, and
Mm-hmm.
it's basically an expo, also called world music. And as you know, Indonesian has very rich Indonesian music
Mm-hmm.
because it has developed for 1,000 years since the birth of gamelan. And
Right.
I like this event because it has strong cultural ground. And this is also my interest. So we gather music from different part of countries in one place, and then we set up a live streaming festival because this corona,
Right.
in order to expose this music to the international market.
Right. So tell us how the pandemic has affected the life in Bali. Like, for example, the festival is also online.
Uh-huh.
How
Yeah,
else?
you know, the pandemic in Bali is really, really bad. And the city is I never seen Bali like this before, it's very shocked me. It's very
It's
empty.
quiet.
It's
It's
very
very empty.
it's very empty and it's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Mm-hmm.
and even it scared me, because every
Yeah.
shop has been shut down for almost 1 year. Everybody
Right.
lost their job,
Mm-hmm.
and I cannot imagine if this pandemic extend
Even longer, yes.
even longer. Yeah,
Well, how has it affected your work? Like, what are your plans after the music festival? Do you see some sort of future there for the art that you're making?
actually during this pandemic, I'd rather concern to the other job and break myself from painting because this this period also is my transition mm,
Mm-hmm.
from my uh, previous, chapter in life
Mm-hmm.
to the next chapter. So I feel like I want to contemplating during this year by doing other job like directing the event.
The music festival.
Yes.
And so you want to tell us a little bit about your previous life?
Well, actually, I was married to the Balinese man, and you know, it's not going good actually.
Mm-hmm.
And that is
Mm-hmm.
why the theme of my painting and my work mostly about
Mm-hmm.
women, women's life. Yeah. And it's including me.
Yes, yes. I recognize the beautiful hands of the
Thank you.
women in the paintings are very, yes, they look very much like your hands. Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
mostly people said so.
mm-hmm. So tell us
Yeah.
how your upbringing, like you mentioned in one article that you grew up in Lombok. How is that? How has it, was it different from Bali growing up there? Because it's part of the Indonesian archipelago.
Yeah. Well, back then, Lombok is very nice island for me. But also, I was lived there until 7 years old. So
Mm-hmm.
my memories is only about the people is very generous, even though we have different religion one to another. The Muslim community have a big tolerance back then that
Mm-hmm.
day to the other minority there in Ireland. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, now it's totally different.
How so?
I heard so many bad news about the majority there and
Mm-hmm.
how they treat other communities, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Uh-huh.
And how did your upbringing between Lombok and then Bali influence the art that you do? I know you said you're transitioning to something else, but how did it influence the content of your work and how you do it?
Well,
For
most
instance, you said in one article that uh, you have a lot of feminist themes in your work, for example. Maybe you can talk about that.
yeah, you know that I was grew up in many places, yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I grew up within strong Balinese art, culture, and religion and Catholicism. Um, but the spiritualism aspect grew when I moved to Bali few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just suddenly appears strongly within me because I feel the vibration in uh, my place,
Mm-hmm.
which is so many people giving offerings every day, and I feel the vibration, and it impact me as a woman personally.
Mm-hmm.
I kept thinking about why we doing this offering, why we do this and that, what is the purpose, something like that. And then there's something interesting happened to me, and it also helps me to improve me as an artist to develop my skill as a painter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I know you have this reputation of being a bit of a rebel because your work is dealing with these issues that uh, female artists don't necessarily deal with in Bali. Also, you're dancing and singing and acting. How do you is this transition leaving the painting behind and moving more to the other things, or how do you balance all the different arts that you work with?
Um, I don't know how to explain this, but maybe this is for other, maybe this a bit complex and you cannot combine it all together. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's very difficult to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I feel like it's a whole um a whole things that I can put together. Like I can add this and that because in my head when I think about one idea
Mm-hmm.
and then I feel like I am at the stage like in my experience before.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like I move my three-dimensional experience as an actor or director,
Mm-hmm.
and then I put it on my two-dimensional work now on canvas or paper, and
Mm-hmm.
I make the scene or I put a symbol to that. So that is why I can explain every single detail on my painting to the audience.
Right. Right.
Like that. Every single detail, including color and why the lines move to that direction, or why the hair doing this, or why the hands holding like that. Yeah.
Yes. And is it that
Mm-mm.
all women in Bali have some singing and dancing training as part of the spiritual aspect of the land? Or I can't.
Most, yeah, mostly, yeah, mostly. They they train as a dancer,
Mm-hmm.
and then since childhood they hear it from the temple.
Mm-hmm.
They hear people singing and dancing. It's like daily routine,
Right.
and they grew up with that. Yeah.
Yes. And one article mentioned that you didn't sign with the gallery in Bali. Do you think you're interested in that or interested in having a gallery outside of Bali, or now you're transitioning to something else so you're not going to bother about it?
Okay. um, People, I mean, my friends told me that the gallery is very important. Yeah. But when I start to think about how to deal with the gallery and the demand of the market,
Mm-hmm.
it it bothered me.
I
Yeah.
totally understand.
Because
Yeah.
because my team is mostly provocative, and they they disagree with that. They sometimes they ask me to make a something like wonderful and happy painting with full colors and flowers, and I said this is not me. I said, I mean, maybe one day I could be like that. I mean, I could be interest in colors, but I think not now because I still need a process to do so. And beside, my artwork is a tool for myself also to heal my pain, and I think I still love what I'm doing now despite most people doesn't like it. It's okay. I mean, this is my process. I accept this.
Yes, yes, yes.
But yeah, but but the interesting part is my collector is came from abroad, the foreigner, not from. my country.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily I still got collectors from abroad, because every time I ask them, how do you know me? Yeah, I Google it and your name appears. Oh, okay. So like that. Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
Mhm.
it's I do think people are somehow still connected, even though technology is not really human. I believe there is
Mhm.
some kind of synchronicity in terms of spirit when you get online to see the things or to meet the people that you want to meet. So
Mhm.
it's
S- mm-mm. You know that every single thing has two sides, and it is also the social media. but
mm-hmm.
but for me, in my opinion, it depends on what is the purpose to use the social media. And for me,
Mm-hmm.
social media is a very strong and powerful tool
Mm-hmm.
to expose my artwork
Yes.
during this pandemic, because we cannot do the exhibition live.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure, virtually, and we need social media, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it is very useful during this time.
What's amazing for me is that, your page on Instagram, which I follow, doesn't always show your artwork, but even the page is really super interesting because of what your eye captures. You're so in touch with nature, and it's really fascinating to see the world through your eyes. Really.
Yeah, yeah. Firstly, it's because my opinion is, we as a human being is very related to nature, and we are part of it. We are nature actually.
Mm-hmm.
And since childhood, I like small creatures,
Mm-hmm.
small things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can capture every detail of things. That is why I can zoom into little things like ants or bugs,
Mm-hmm.
or even sea creature under the water.
Yes.
I can see, yeah, I can see it. And it's so every time I capture that small creatures, I just wondering by myself about life, about how we live in this life, how we treat people, how we connect with other.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's about breathing like that. So it's like meditation for me.
Yes.
And and I'm not really interested with looks, with appearance. So every time I meet people, I directly see their soul. So it's like automatic whether I like them or not, because it's not about appearance,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about thing. It's just about soul and characteristic.
Absolutely. I understand that, yes.
Yeah.
And I really believe in art as a force of change. Do you see your works, which involve nature, symbols of spirituality, women, and women's bodies, as part of the agent for change that you want to see in Balinese society in terms of women's equal status?
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, that is my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I I'm still doing what I can do to change the perspective, the opinion about gender, about the role basically. And I also give the giving the understanding with the people around me, whether they have misunderstanding or they don't know what to do
Mm-hmm.
and how to teach their kids. I just try to give the understanding to a better future. So, for example, if I met a young mother
Mm-hmm.
and have a son, I always tell her to how to raise their son so that in the future her son can respect women
Right.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-uh.
And I wanted to
Because
go ahead.
basically,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, basically they don't understand the big impact after small things they teach the kids
Yeah.
here. They just don't realize it. They're not stupid. They just don't realize that is also give a big impact to their kids in the future. They just don't
Absolutely.
realize it. So yeah. So that is why I give understanding for them.
Well, I'm hopeful for the future. I know you said some people just do things like they've always been doing it because that's the tradition.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
maybe with one person, they see a change and then they feel inspired to change as well. Maybe.
Yeah. Mm,
I would.
one day, yeah. I'm giving an example.
Mhm.
One day, there's a traditional ceremony here.
Mhm.
Basically, the women will do the offering, and then the men just helping cooking or preparing the big things. But the uh, I mean the portion for women for me it's too big,
Mhm.
and the portion for men is too small for me. Yeah, this is my only my opinion. And then one day I just changed my role. So I'm doing the male job
Mhm.
instead of women's job. And then they start pointing at me whether this is not my job. Which tradition said mentioned that I cannot do this kind of stuff? And then they all suddenly quiet. And then I'm continuing working with the male.
Yeah.
And then that is how I uh you know stimulate their brain to think
Yes.
what
Yes.
are they doing now.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to know if the
But
art scene in Bali ever
mhm,
was
mhm.
sort of mixing with the Western art scene. Like I mentioned Ashley Bickerton. Do you know his artwork? Because he has a studio in Bali. Do you know that Western artist? He's a man.
Yes, yes, I know Ashley, but I don't know him personally. I
Oh,
saw few of his work.
mm-hmm.
And also one of my gallery owner
Mm-hmm.
also has him as an artist. So I knew few of his work from the owner gallery. So it is for me it's interesting and it's very brave how he combined the new method and the new media into a whole new artwork. For me, it's very interesting and brave. It's very colorful.
Yeah, it is true.
Yeah,
It's opposite yours in terms of its colorfulness, but he also somehow
yeah,
deals with
yeah.
the traditional society mixing with the Western society and how men and women interact in Balinese society. Somehow he deals with that too.
Wait, wait. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Sorry.
I think that's amazing. We're hearing the cocks crowing in the background.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
No, I was just saying, in some ways, his work, like yours, is dealing with this clash of cultures, this how society deals with men and
Mhm,
women, and in Bali.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
some of his work, not all. Well, is there anything
Well,
else you wanted to
yeah,
tell us?
yes. Well, actually, it's make me giggling, yeah, when I found my my work is bugging them because it came from women artists.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, if you visit Bali, mostly in traditional market, you would find a big penis made from wood
Yes.
in a
Mm-hmm.
they sell it as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine if it's not a penis, I mean, what
Yes.
if it's a vagina?
That would be amazing.
What would be the reaction,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
because because I got so many reaction from Balinese people mention that this is not a good act what you've been doing
Mm-hmm.
because it's very vulgar and it's not a good way as a women
Mm-hmm.
in Bali.
Mm-hmm.
I said, why you keep doing this to women artists? Because you already have men artists and you mostly can found a scene that almost vulgar. It is
Mm-hmm.
vulgar
Mm-hmm.
in temple and also in painting, but made by male artists, not female artists.
Right.
I just don't understand this thing.
The world is figuring it out. The entire world, even us here in the West, in New York, we still have these issues, even though it looks like we're more advanced.
Yeah, yeah, I read that also.
Yeah, yeah. The whole Me Too society, the whole Me Too movement, it's almost old-fashioned
Hmm.
now, but that was
Yes,
all about the
but
same
still we
thing.
have to do it.
Yes.
It's like never-ending story.
Oh God. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add before we hang up? Is there something I didn't ask you or you?
Well, I hope I hope the generation will have a more open-minded about women and men position in social life. I mean, we should have the same position,
Yes. Or at least,
whether
yes,
uh-huh.
at least complimentary, because there's so many things we can do that men have a hard time, and vice versa. They can do what they do and let us do what we're good at.
Yeah, yeah,
And the world would definitely be a better place.
would be.
Well, enjoy the day, and I hope to hear more about the festival. I'm gonna go look online now. Can you tell us
Thank
what
you
the
so
website
much.
is for the music festival?
Uh, it's indonesianmusicexpo.com.
Okay.
Yes, you can Google it, and we will we will live streaming from 11 to 18 October
Mm-hmm.
in at 8 p.m. Bali time.
Yes. Okay. That's 8 a.m.
Yes.
our time. Perfect.
Uh-huh.
All
Uh-huh.
right. Well, have a good day, and we'll talk hopefully soon.
Thank you so much.
Take care,
Thank
Satya.
you.
Be well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed episode 3 of this current series of podcasts. I've interviewed only women recently, and for the next 1 or 2 episodes, I'll have more women on. For some reason, it seems that I'm speaking with a lot more females, and it adds a different tone to the whole conversation. So let's see how far this goes before we get another male voice on the program. Thanks, and have a great week.